There are massive PS5 rumors floating around, Warcraft 3 is review bombed, and Stadia has been quiet until yesterday. All this and more on Wumpa Time. What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Wumpa Time. My name is Canadian Guy, and I am joined by my lovely co-host...
Me! I'm sick. Shit. I'm shit, Mello.
He's the sick Shemp.
Hello.
He caught what I had through apparently cyber sickness. That's how it is. I coughed on the screen and just warped to him.
Yeah, so, I was like, man, my monitor's kind of moist.
That's from the last time we did Wumpa Time. So on to the quick news. Outer Worlds is coming to the Switch. Which a lot of people knew because I believe this was announced before. However, there's a little bit of a interesting, kick to the teeth is that there is no cartridge. It's strictly
no
digital.
Cartridge. It's only a download code, which is such a waste of plastic. We get so many games like this at work. Like I think the most recent one was Call of Juarez. I think
got a physical. Juarez. Yeah.
It got a physical release and it's like $20, but it's just a digital code. Same thing with Wolfenstein Youngblood. That released with only a code and no cartridge.
Which I don't understand. That just give it a pamphlet. Make it a pamphlet.
I get it. I understand why, like, these digital games probably aren't going to sell well on store shelves. It's just cheaper, but, like, come on. The plastic you're wasting just to do this, you might as well just not do a physical release.
Yeah, no, you might as well keep it strictly digital. But, I mean, the problem is, though, is that there's a lot of people that still prefer physical, right? Because, I mean, we all know about the preservation of games and how that's starting to become an issue nowadays. So, it's nice that we have Outer Worlds on physical in other games and other sources of media, but still, like, come on now. Like, just don't put it in plastic.
Yeah, just leave it the way it is. Don't just don't. And speaking of don't, Nintendo has shown their lifetime earnings on their mobile gaming at this point, and I think this is from Sensor Tower. They report that Nintendo's mobile games have reached over $1 billion in lifetime player spending. Total downloads of Nintendo games worldwide on mobile is 452 million. Now, that is scary.
That's almost each person paying like $250 a person. On
yes.
Everybody.
And what this means for gaming is that Nintendo is clearly seeing that more money is being made by cheaply making apps and putting them on mobile. And I'm scared that this is the direction they're going to head in.
I don't think Nintendo will ever fully go... Well, actually, no, I take that back. Nintendo recently has been definitely very, very money hungry. There's a lot of business practices that they are doing that I really don't agree with. And the worst part is that they still have those engineers and those people who know what they're doing and have the heart of Nintendo. And so people can see it, like the Switch is fantastic, but the peripherals for the Switch and the things they're so bloody expensive. And to hear that these games that they're producing, which honestly aren't like the highest quality either.
No.
$1 billion, not 1 million, $1 billion. Not downloads. Because if it was 1 billion downloads, I get it. I'm like, oh, that's really good. That's that's pretty good. But no, $1 billion.
And I also find this interesting is that it's showing. I think Nintendo currently has like 6 main Nintendo apps. They have like Dr. Mario, Mario Run, Mario Kart, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, and Dragalia. I can't pronounce that. It's interesting that the Mario games, like Nintendo's mascot Mario, are the 3 lowest grossing of the 6. Like very last.
I want to make a guess. Is number 1 Animal Crossing?
No. Try again. Okay. I'll give you this. Animal Crossing second.
Oh, I was close. Okay.
Second. It's like the second highest grossing.
Wow. That's what's number 1? Is it Fire Emblem?
It's Fire Emblem Heroes at a whopping $656 million in revenue.
Ow! So it's over half on one game?
Yeah, and Animal Crossing in second place only got 131 million. That is 500 million less than the number one spot.
Okay, so the other ones aren't actually making like a ridiculous amount of money. The other ones, like for a company the size of Nintendo and the amount of people that need to be constantly working on it, $100,000, $150,000, it's good, like, I suppose.
Yeah.
But 650 on one game, it's gotta be all in Japan, dude.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but I'm still shocked that the Mario games are the least, especially Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario's in dead last with 4.8 million. Like, that's it.
I got a feeling that it has to deal with like I said 180,000, no, 180 million. That's still very good. That's still very good for mobile apps. I'm not trying to downplay that before people go in the comment section and scream at me about that. I'm not trying to downplay that. It's very good, but it stands nowhere near what Fire Emblem does.
Yeah, nothing.
Do you think it has to do with something with, because you know how Mario is still very, very popular in North America, that North Americans kind of have started this whole anti-microtransaction thing where people are becoming much more aware of it?
Oh, yeah, dude, Mario Kart Tour was, like, aggressive with microtransactions.
Yeah, but do you think that Americans, or just North Americans in general, are not falling for the microtransactions as much than as to maybe in Japan?
I don't know, man, because in America, we do have that demographic of people, like on Twitter, per se, that will boycott these games because of the aggressive microtransactions. But that's one small part of the entire world. Everyone else in North America who just plays games casually don't care. They don't pay attention to it. They just see it as an option. That's why I'm sure you saw the hashtag boycott Pokemon. Yeah, look how that went. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 16 million copies.
Yeah, and to give you an idea about that, Pokemon Sword and Shield, 16 and a half. I think it's 16.06 million copies. I think that was the exact number by December 31st, so it's not even including January as we are recording. Technically February 1st right now. And it passed X and Y's lifetime sales, not first month sales, lifetime.
It's only been out for like what, 2 months? Like,
it came out in November?
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a lot sooner. But before we move on, I'm going to list them all in order. Number one, like I said, Fire Emblem Heroes at 656 million. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, 131 million, which is probably the most tame out of all these apps. Dragalia Lost at 123 million in third place. And then in fourth, Mario Kart Tour at 86 million. Super Mario Run at 76 million, which was the first app of all this, and I thought was like the better. And then dead last is Dr. Mario at 4 million.
Yeah, because Dr. Mario is kind of like the next Candy Crush kind of style game. So it's like we've already seen that. We've already seen this kind of stuff, if I remember correctly. Isn't that what Dr. Mario is? It's just like a Candy Crush kind of mobile game.
It's supposed to be like Tetris, but like a different spin on Tetris. Okay. But it was the microtransactions that a lot of people hated.
Yeah. So something else that perhaps a lot of Switch owners may or may not hate. There has been an announcement from the CEO of Nintendo themselves that allegedly that there will be no new Switch model released this year.
Yeah, which shut down a ton of rumors.
Yeah, there were so many rumors about a quote-unquote Switch Pro. Now, I wouldn't 100% put it out because, I mean, we have heard people deconfirm things before and then it happens or something similar to it happens. Maybe there will be an upgrade, but they're not considering it a new Switch. They're not calling it a Switch Pro. I don't know. But allegedly there was a whole bunch of rumors and a whole bunch of manufacturing stuff, like new screens being done, this, that, and the other. There was so many rumors, and then all of a sudden it just went dead silent. I don't know. It's something smells off to me.
Yeah, it's funny because this is something that I think Nintendo could really benefit from, because from what I always thought was like we have the Switch, which is the hybrid, we have Switch Lite, which is handheld only, and if we got a Switch Pro, which was dock only and like console only, then they would be dominating every part of the market with one system. Because back in the day, you'd have the Wii and the DS, the Wii U, the 3DS. Now you have the Switch, which is just one console. And you can total that up into lifetime sales. And, investors like big numbers. So if you have 3 different models of the Switch, you can add all that up. And you could probably dominate like PS4 numbers.
Well, I think that's something. I think that if they were to release a third Switch, but like you said, for it, maybe not. Maybe the focus won't be on portable. Like maybe it can be portable, but that's not the focus. The focus might be like, okay, you put this into the dock mode and you get your 1080p 60 frames per second. Because if they can achieve, they don't even need to hit 4K. You don't even need to hit 4K. If you hit 1080p 60 somehow with these Switch games,
that's all I need.
Then you got a big selling point. Like that's huge because like I said, you don't need the 4K. 1080p 60 would be absolutely amazing. Docked as a it might be one of those things where you can undock it and it's portable, but it only has like an hour and a half battery. So it's kind of like, sure, you can play it, I guess. But then
it's like I understand why they're not, because all of these Switch games are like backwards engineered to get to work on the Switch just in general. So if you have a more powerful Switch, you have all these games that have already had all this money and time invested into just getting it to work. What's the point in backwards engineering it again to take a benefit of the Pro when you have all these other versions? Like the original Xbox One barely can run Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And a big reason as to why Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed was because of that original Xbox. So you have the original and then the current one. So I kind of see what they're doing, but a Switch Pro could definitely be beneficial for you.
They're still running that. Like they've been running the software from Switch like hard from day one. Like we had frame rate drops. Like Breath of the Wild, it shouldn't be looking like Breath of the Wild on the hardware that it's on. It shouldn't.
No.
But if it's raining in a windy, grassy area, frames, where do they go? They're gone, right? So
I'd argue the same thing for Spyro with Unreal 4.
Right. Well, I definitely would argue because when I put my when I was recording earlier today for the video that you guys are hopefully going to see soon, I was recording on the PS4 version of Spyro, and I could hear my PlayStation like sound like a jet engine trying to keep up.
On a Pro, by the way.
On a Pro. I think it's just a testament of how big the game is and how chunky it is and how just powerful it is. Spyro Reignited. So I think it's just like a testament of maybe not necessarily optimization, which yes, optimization could have happened, but I think it's just that the game was a little bit ahead of its time. That's why so many shortcuts had to be taken, like the motion blur, the frame rate drops, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean compared to other games like that run on Unreal 4, like I guess you could compare it to Fortnite. Spyro is obviously more vibrant with its colors, whereas Fortnite is kind of like super downsampled for the Switch.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of scary and death, you like Silent Hill? You like Silent Hill? Because Konami acknowledged the fact that it existed again the other day. Basically,
that it exists?
Yeah, the fact that Silent Hill is somewhere. Basically, after Konami turned Metal Gear and Silent Hill into pachinko machines, there were a lot of rumors about Konami actually making another game. Oh, wow. It's freaky, crazy, right?
Right.
A Konami representative came out and just said, yes, we are working on a Silent Hill game. We just don't feel comfortable showing it off yet because we're still trying to basically mold it into how we want it to go. Now, it's not just one Silent Hill game. We're getting maybe 2 Silent Hill games.
Ooh, okay. A remake, perhaps?
The first one is actually going to be, it's rumored, according to a couple of sources, to be a reboot of the entire series.
Okay.
So we're not going to be getting any more remakes like the God forbidden HD collection on the 360. This is going to be just a completely new take on Silent Hill, like PT was supposed to be, but probably most likely without Hideo Kojima. And the second game. And Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro and everyone that was supposed to make that game great. Yeah. And the second game, this kind of threw me for a loop, but I actually can see it the way it is. The second game is expected to be an Until Dawn style game.
Oh, a
right?
narrative kind of like, okay.
Like imagine if I guess Telltale made a Silent Hill game, but other choices matter.
I mean, I could dig it.
Yeah, I would totally be down with that. I don't know if it'd be as fleshed out as Until Dawn was, but I would totally be down for that.
I think that it would work for the franchise really well. So we're going to get into the main big news, and I'm going to start off the first big news with something that is incredibly depressing to me. This is something that legit makes me upset, and it's had me upset for the past few days. So, Shemp, have you heard about Warcraft?
I have. I used to play WoW back in the day. I had the 90-day free trial and got sad when it expired.
Yeah. Before World of Warcraft, there was a game called Warcraft 3. Now, if you're familiar with StarCraft or Age of Empires, it's an RTS-style game where real-time strategy where you look down on a bunch of units, a bunch of characters, and you control whole masses of armies. And before World of Warcraft became what it was one of those style games. There was Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. Warcraft 3 came out originally back in 2001 and was one of the best PC games on the market you could ever buy for any reason. The graphics for the time were absolutely outstanding. The gameplay was crazy, and it was arguably probably one of the games I've spent probably the most hours on. And one of the reasons why is because the game had a custom mode where you could literally make any custom game on any custom map, and it's actually the birthplace of a bunch of different stuff. For example, it brought a bunch of really good ideas for tower defense games, like Winter Mall, Mort's Power TD, there's so many Gem TD, Poker TD, there's so many tower defenses that were made because of this game. But the big one, the big one was Dota 2, just Dota.
Yeah, yep.
Defense of the Ancients, which is something that Steam made. Now, there is a big controversy between Dota and League of Legends, because basically what happened was that the makers, from what my understanding is the person that made Dota went to Valve or Steam or whatever, and they made Dota 2. But there were different versions of Dota. There was this version, that version, this version, that version. But the version that everybody played by the end, it was Dota All-Stars. And Dota All-Stars was made by the people that made League of Legends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's from what I'm aware, from what I've been told and from what I've read. I might be wrong on some of the details there, but from what I know, basically what happened was that the one guy made the game, and then the one guy took the game and balanced it and mastered it. He added his own heroes, and he balanced it, and those people that made Dota All-Stars went and made League of Legends, and the person that made the original Dota code went and made Dota 2 for Valve. So that's how the story went, and there was a big controversy from Blizzard originally, because it was made originally on the Warcraft 3 engine. And there was some money wanted to be involved and yada, yada, yada. But basically how it ended was that there was nothing that Blizzard could do. Blizzard couldn't earn any income from this. They couldn't earn anything because even though it was played on their thing, they didn't own the assets. They didn't own the stuff. It just didn't work out that way. So Warcraft 3 Reforged had come out, which I had been so excited for, and I'm still happy that I have it, and I'm still excited. I'm not going to refund my purchase, but it launches with so much hate from the community. It's ridiculous.
It's kind of unreal. It's way worse than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, so the user score on Metacritic, which I will say I don't like trusting the user score on any Metacritic, because I always find games that aren't great, people white knighting it to the end of the earth, saying how amazing it is and how they bathe in the discs every day they buy from the discount bin. But and then games that have any controversy to it, like for example Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think they scored like a 4 in the user score, which It's not a 4. You can't convince me it's a 4. But They have review bombed Warcraft 3 so hard it's sitting at a 0.7.
Yes, on the user score. And I would like to say that from when you first showed me this to now, there have been over double the amount of reviews on this thing. Yeah. Now, when you showed it to me, there were around 4,000 user reviews, and a lot of them were zeros, and they were all in Russian, I think. A lot of them were in Russian. Now it's doubled more to over 8,900 ratings and reviews.
It's pretty bad. It's really
so this
bad.
This is basically getting the Death Stranding treatment, where everyone was just destroying the game on Metacritic just because they felt like it. There was no rhyme or reason. Same thing with Pokemon, Warcraft 3 Reforged. Now, like you told me, there are problems with Reforged. Don't get me wrong. Like it's not a saving grace, but this is so much, like, this is beyond overkill.
Yeah, it is overkill. There was a lot of things that I think that they had really good intentions for. I do feel like the game was rushed. I do agree with that notion. I don't think it deserves a 0.7 though. Like, one of the things I really liked is that all the music is remastered and you can toggle between it, and you can toggle between the original models and the new models.
That's pretty cool. So basically just Star Wars remaster. That's all it is.
Kind of, right? And they have all the voice actors are originally the same, which is very nice. But there are definitely some shortcuts that were made that a lot of people are very, very upset about. One of them being that all the cinematics are the original cinematics, just upscaled.
Oh, really? Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, that was just like, oh, that kind of sucks. There's a lot of little glitches. They changed the programming on some of the characters, so when because the whole point is that you could take all the original custom maps, import them into Reforge, and it would be able to import it 1-to-1. And for the
that's really cool.
Yeah, and for the most part, it's been working fine. However, there are issues that are starting to come up. That are popping up that it needs optimization. These things need to be fixed. And for example, if you apply 2 slows on one unit, they just stop. They just stop.
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, so like, for example, if you have a slow from a poison and a slow from a frost, originally it would just slow them down, and the more slows you applied, the more slow they would become, but they would still be moving. If you apply 2 slows, they just stop. That's it. They just stop. It's like they're stunned. And there are problems with it, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I don't think it deserves the way it is. I do hope for it to get patched and fixed. It sucks though that we're in a world like that though, where the game comes out and then you have to wait longer for them, and hoping that they'll fix it. Hoping that they'll...
I was actually going to ask you, if this just stays the way it is, will your view on it change? Like, if it's not fixed at all?
Yeah, I'll have to change it. I'm still heartbroken by it. If they fix it, I think it's salvageable. I still think it's 100% salvageable. I think that it can still be fixed and things can be rejustified and for things to be changed. But if it stayed the way it is now... I would be shattered. I would be very, very saddened, because the game is like 17 years old now, older.
Oh my god!
It's older. Yeah, sorry. The first game came out in 2001. Then they released an expansion, which was even better. The expansion was better than the base game in 2003. So if you go off what made it really popular, which was the expansion, 2003. It's 17 years old, and if you go off the original, it's 19 years old, and it was still being played leading up. It was one of the longest going games. It was still being played leading up to the game's release. Before they announced Reforged, it was still being played.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah. So to see it in the state that it is, and to see the way that people are towards it, I do agree that I feel like it's a Bethesda situation, where remember how Bethesda literally did anything and 400 YouTubers made 80 videos about how stupid they are?
Yeah, every time Bethesda would breathe, it would be like wow, I can't believe Bethesda decided to breathe.
Yeah, basically. That's kind of what is happening now with Warcraft 3. It's heartbreaking to see. It's really heartbreaking to see. So, moving from a heartbreak to something a little bit more lighthearted.
To a bigger heartbreak, depending on if you bought the service. So, oh my God, Stadia! I got it out. Sorry, there it is. All right, so not PlayStation Now. So Stadia, is awful. Everything about it is awful. Now you know what?
It took a sip of water.
You know what makes it more awful? The fact that it hasn't had anything new for the past 40 days. It is still a brand new product, and you have customers who bought into the product, waiting to get some sort of redemption for their product, making sure that it's a good buy, and it has been 40 days of nothing. Now, someone on Reddit, I forget the username, but someone on Reddit went to the Google Stadia subreddit. Now, by the way, the Google Stadia subreddit is just imploding on itself, and it's really funny to see, but this guy posted saying, guys, it's been 40 days. Stadia came out 60 or 70 days ago, and we are still stuck. Was it 6? It's something. It's still a big number, and we're still waiting. Now, a Google Stadia representative came on the thread in the comments and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And he made sure to emphasize, "I'm going to make sure that this post doesn't get removed." And I was like, "What do you mean this doesn't get removed? Like, have you guys just been like deleting posts all the time?" But besides that, he said, "I don't have anything to announce in terms of new games right now, but stay tuned." And everyone was like, "Great, awesome." Now, I think 2 days ago or so, Stadia comes out and announces, "Hey guys, we're adding some games to February." And I was like, "Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. How many?" 2. Just 2 for the entire month of February.
Which games
what are they?
One
is a game called Guilt, which I think is an indie game, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And the other one is Metro Exodus.
No.
The game that's on everything, and everyone probably has a copy by now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but I got something else to add on to this. Something small. Not small, actually. Something pretty big. Literally, Stadia came forward and said, and I quote, they told everybody, "Hey, listen, it's up to the third-party developers to bring games to Stadia. It's up to them."
Can you imagine if Nintendo did that when the Switch first came out? Everyone's like, "Oh, the Switch has no games." Nintendo's like, it's their fault.
Basically, that's literally what they're doing. They're literally passing the buck, and they're like, "Hey, listen, it's up to the other people." Now, imagine this. Imagine literally trying to go to a platform where they throw you under the bus for the reason that there's no games.
You know what? It's kind of like if you go to a convention and you're like, "Where are the guests?" And they're like, "Oh, they didn't offer to come here, so there's no guests." Like, that's not how this works. Sony and Microsoft will reach out to developers to put stuff on their consoles.
Yes, that's the whole point, right? And here they are, literally passing the buck to other people, not themselves, not taking any responsibility, just saying, "Hey, it's not our fault. It's not our problem."
Yeah, it's not our problem that you guys have 40 days of nothing. Also, here's Metro Exodus.
I could not believe that when I heard that. And Stadia, listen, this is something that is just absolutely it's a dead horse. It's dead on arrival. The game's been out. Let's say it is out for 70 days. You've been quiet for more days than it's been released. Okay.
Oh, that's a good point.
That would mean that out of the 70 days, you have been quiet for 40 of those days. Over half. I don't even think Google has faith in its own product now.
No, because with Google's mentality is if it doesn't work right away, then it's not worth it. That's why you don't see a lot of what was it? Was it Google Fiber or something? It was some internet provider through Google that had stations all around the United States. There was actually one in Austin, Texas that I went to go visit, and I was like, okay, cool. And then they just shut it down.
Yeah. There's a Google Glass.
Glass, I forgot about that.
But here's the thing, though, is that Google Glass never made it to, like, mass production.
No, not at all.
Right, it didn't even make it there. The fact, though, was that people were still interested in Google Glass. People were like, okay, it's kind of weird, but hey, let's try it, right?
Yeah,
and
I want to try it.
It never got out, right? And it's like, all right, well, that kind of sucks. Stadia, everybody was saying from day one, as soon as they heard the business plan, no.
The only person that I ever saw say anything positive about Stadia was that one user that was just called Google Stadia fan, and they were I forget, I think it was on Twitter or Reddit, or they were just constantly saying how great Google Stadia is. And then once all the news started to come out, I think he finally was just like, oh, I finally get it. And then he stopped posting on that account. Like, the account's just dead by now.
Probably have more active than Stadia is.
Oh, wow. Throwing shade.
Oh, man. We've been throwing shade at Stadia from the first podcast because it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And I still can't believe how dumb and how. But this is where my problem is that we've all communicated to Google from day one. No, this is not the business model that we want to follow. This is not what we want. This is not consumer friendly. This doesn't make sense. No. And they still proceeded. They didn't do.
Yeah.
We thought, there were people. I was expecting it not even hit the shelves with how people were reacting. I'm like, if Google Glass barely had a lukewarm reaction and people actually interested in it, and they canceled that with all this hatred and saying, no, they've got to cancel this project. No, they pushed it. They kept going.
Yeah, and I don't know. I kind of feel bad for all the people that bought the Founders Edition, which is like the only thing that you can buy right now, which is like, what, it was $140. Was that right?
Somewhere around that. It was like between 120 and 140. It
was between 100 and too much. I don't know. I mean, I get the fact that, you buy into something. Like, I bought the Vita and I was like, oh, this is going to be so good. And then it wasn't. I know exactly what they're going through. Maybe it'll get more support. I doubt it, but keep holding on, I guess.
I doubt it. I mean, hey, listen, if you bought Stadia, one, why? Two, listen.
Why?
Why? First question is, why? Second, hey, you know what? If you're gaming on it, I think your stick-to-itiveness is really awesome, but I would ditch it as quick as you can. So,
yeah.
Now we're gonna move on to a big subject here.
Big.
Yeah, big. So we're probably gonna mix these two together because they're originally separate, but they kind of tie in together, and this is a big subject. So now, before we begin, this is rumor-ish, semi-confirmed, I suppose. So there's this website called NeoGAF. It's kind of just like Threads, I guess.
Yeah, like 4chan, but they don't disappear. Yeah,
kind of like 4chan, kind of like Reddit, kind of like Reset Era, just another forum site. And apparently there are people who are like what's called vetted. And what vetted means is that people actually, you talk to the administrators, you claim what you are, and they vet you, and they then say, yes, you are a vetted member of whatever you're claiming. Now, this person by the username of VFX Veteran, who is claimed to be a quote-unquote industry professional, had basically replied to another person saying it was a leak and basically confirming that this leak was correct. And this is the leak about the PlayStation 5, which...
Yeah, I mean, he did just come out and say, yeah, this is right.
Yeah, basically what happened was someone posted a leak, and then a vetted industry standard came forward and pointed out and said, this is true. All of this is true. So take this with granules of salt, take it with whatever, if you're not into that to your diet, soy sauce, whatever it is to help get the news down, and just sugar, salt, whatever it is that you add to your diet, butter, margarine. Just remember that I'm going on a food tangent. Just remember that when going into the details. So I got the information here, and we're going to talk a lot about this. There's a lot of things we're going to be talking about. We're going to be starting from the date, the price, some of the games, some of the specs, and we're going to kind of start that now. So the PS5 reveal event is set to... apparently, according to this person, February 5th, which means next week.
Wednesday. That is... Wednesday. And that is a date that's been thrown around a lot, way before this one.
Yeah. I've been hearing February 4th, and I was hearing February 6th, but that could also be due to time zones, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I was hearing first week of February. That's a lot of things I've been hearing. So, and the alleged release date, now, one of the reasons why, hold on, just back up a little bit. One of the reasons why they're allegedly releasing it on the 5th is because it's the 25th year of Sony operating, and and it's the 25th anniversary for PlayStation. And if you look, February is a 2, the 5th is a 5, 25, 2020.
Yeah.
It's on the nose. So there's that, and the release date is allegedly October 2020. The price will be $500 American dollars or £550. There will only be one model, unlike Xbox. There will only be one.
Woo!
Some of the launch games include. Now they say include. That doesn't mean this is all the games. Gran Turismo 7, MLB The Show 21, which we're going to talk about in a second, Demon's Souls Remastered, Godfall, and a game called Legends with a Z, and is a...
Edgy.
And it is a new IP from Sony Santa Monica Studio, which is the same studio that made God of War.
Yes.
Some of the games teased at the PS5 reveal. So these will be games that they're going to tease, probably show a trailer for, a little hot trailer, sizzle reel. Will be Horizon Zero Dawn, the sequel, a sequel to Marvel's Spider-Man, a new sci-fi IP from Naughty Dog, of all people.
Yeah.
A new IP from SIE Japan, a new IP from London Studio, Final Fantasy 16, and Resident Evil 8, which we're going to talk about in a second. The PS5 specs are almost on par with the Xbox Series X. The leak claims that Series X is more expensive and the PS5 is more powerful than the cheaper Xbox Lockhart, and the PS5 slogan is, "It's time to play." Okay.
Now, the one thing right away for me is the "It's time to play" thing that everyone say is the new phrase and everything. I can see it being that, but we all have to remember that PlayStation of Europe, I think, their Twitter, they changed their bio to "It's time to play" like months ago.
Right.
And on the new PS4 sizzle reel where it showed, like you did the video covering the new mask that was following Coco, that whole video at the end, it said "It's time to play." Now, that phrase isn't new. Like I said, it's been around for a while, but I can see them going from what was what's the PS4 slogan?
I don't even know.
I thought it was "Be Greater," but that's Spider-Man.
I don't even know what the PS4 slogan is.
It's "Greatness awaits." That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think "It's time to play" would be a lot better.
Yeah. So okay, let's start from the top. Reveal event February 5th, 2020. We've heard a lot about this. We've been hearing a lot about being revealed in February. So that's kind of not new. I think we talked about this before in a previous Wumpa time. Now let's talk about the next thing though that that it threw me for a little bit of a loop is it's released in October.
Yeah,
I was thinking November.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like October seems, I guess, would you say too early, or like did it say late October or early October?
It just says October 2020. It could be. Okay. I have no idea, but it's just October is just a weird, kind of like a weird month because like I don't know. It's just,
there's not really I don't know. Yeah, I'm still trying to think about it. That's so weird.
Because I would have liked to take an additional 3 weeks to be able to ship out more units.
Yeah, right? Unless they're anticipating something.
I'm not sure. Now the price point is $500.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it was between, people were saying 4 minimum, 5 max. So they are hitting the max price, but there is something that we got to talk about in a second, which could be very interesting. So we'll get back to the price because of what else that was said in this leak. Now, the launch games include Gran Turismo 7, yep, believable.
Okay, yeah.
Demon's Souls Remastered, yep, believable. Godfall, yep, we've seen that.
Yeah,
Legends,
we've seen all that one.
Legends, okay, sure. But MLB The Show 21.
Yeah, you pointed this out to me because, for one, I don't really follow baseball, but you had a better eye on this.
It's okay. MLB The Show usually releases, here, let me look this up quickly. MLB The Show usually comes out during a specific season, and that season is March.
Yes.
It's almost always March. For example, the show 20 came out, MLB The Show 20 came out on March 17th, 2020. The show...
I'm looking at all of them, all the way to 15. It's all March.
It's all
14.
March.
April 14 was April. Ooh,
so
a little late.
Later. Well, yeah, but it's all within the same time.
Yeah. For
it to launch in October, that's early. That's very early.
That's super early. That's way too early, especially for baseball season.
Yeah, unless what they mean by launch is because sometimes people say, oh, launch games within the first 6 months, they're considered a launch game.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but 6 months, really?
Yeah. Some people consider 6 months a launch game. And I was like, really? I would think the first 2 or 3.
Maybe I would say 2 at max.
Yeah, but 6? That's really... There's something kind of iffy about that. Now, it does say PS5, like I said, it says includes.
Yeah, it doesn't say is the one that's going to launch with it.
These are all the ones. There might be more. Games teased at the PS5 reveal will be the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, which, yeah, we could see that from a million miles away. Spider-Man, yep, that's easy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16, well, yeah, it's Final Fantasy Square, of course, they're going to have a Final Fantasy 16. They'll have Final Fantasy 947. Resident Evil, which you're going to be talking about in a second because you have more details on that.
Yeah.
But a new IP from London Studio, and then a new IP from SIE Japan, which of course new IPs come out all the time with PlayStation. That's not new. But a new sci-fi IP from Naughty Dog.
That's the one that threw me for a loop. That is so out of left field. Naughty Dog making a I understand going from Crash to Jack. Crash to Jack was a good transition because Jack 1 was a platformer and then went into a shooter, and then went from Jack to Uncharted, so a shooter from a shooter, and then a stealth or a cover shooter to a stealth shooter. Yeah, it all makes sense, but just to jump into a sci-fi?
If it's true, I want to look forward to it because Naughty Dog's real good.
It's Naughty Dog, yeah. I'm going to buy it regardless. But if it's true, color me surprised.
Yeah, definitely. And but the big question, though, that I do want to kind of propose is why would they announce or why would they tease a new upcoming project when they have The Last of Us right around the corner?
Yeah, exactly. Same with Santa Monica doing Legends. Was it Legends made by Santa
Legends,
Monica?
yeah.
Okay, because we already know that they've been in development doing God of War 2. Like that's been in development for a while. They posted
Right.
job listings and everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't
But-
think their studio's big enough to tackle those too big of a project.
Well, they originally tried tackling 2 projects. They had that sci-fi game that was supposed to release.
Oh, maybe that was offloaded to Naughty Dog.
Possibly. Because there was a rumor that somehow Sony Santa Monica was resurrecting the old sci-fi IP. Maybe they passed it to Naughty Dog. That would be really cool.
That'd be really cool. If it is, then we just put the pieces together. Oh, one more time exclusive. Oh.
So remember how I said earlier about price? Okay, this is where we talked about this on Wumpa Time before, but I just kind of put it 2 and 2 together when we were just talking about this. Is that the PS5 specs are almost on par with the Xbox Series X. We all kind of saw that the Series X was going to be more powerful. We all kind of...
Yeah.
But the leak claims that the Series X is more expensive. Now, time out. The PS5 is already priced at $500.
Oh, no, Microsoft. Don't pull a PS3. Don't come out and
Are
be like,
they
yeah,
gonna
you can
go-
buy the base model for $600.
Are they going for the $600? Are they going to do it?
Okay, to be fair, we've already discussed that there's going to be 3 Xbox consoles coming out. Maybe, no, because the Series X is the middle ground, so there's going to be an even more expensive one.
Well, no, it's 2 right now that we know of. 2. It's the Lockhart, which is the smaller version, and then the Anaconda, which is the Series X. Right?
No, so the Series X was, I thought it was, No, it wasn't Scorpio.
No, Scorpio was...
Scorpio was the Xbox One.
One X.
Oh, that's Scarlet. Project Scarlet.
Yeah, it was the whole project is called Scarlet. The whole project. Okay, so yeah, hold on. The Xbox Series is called Project Scarlet. The specific model is Project Anaconda and then Project Lockhart.
I hate it. I still hate it. Oh, God, stop.
So, now to give you an idea, so already, in Canada, there is about a 30%, about 30% difference between Americans and Canadians. So if I were to go $500 times, let me clear it. So $500 times 1.30 plus 13% for tax. The base PS4 or PS5, sorry, in Canada after tax will be $734.50.
Ooh.
Canadian.
So I have this one up as well. If the Series X launches at $600 US, before tax, it will be $794 Canadian before tax.
So let's add tax of 13%. It will be $897.22. So $900 Canadian.
You might as well just build a PC. Like, come on. There is no justification to buying this thing. If the PS5 is what would we say, 500, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's 500, fine, I get it. There's PlayStation exclusives. Yes, I want to play them. Backwards compatible with PS4. Yes, I want to do that. The Xbox, their exclusives are on PC. You could put the 800 Canadian to building a PC to play these games. 900. I'm sorry. You could build a better PC than the Xbox Series X, probably.
And to give you an idea with that too, a brand new game in Canada.
Oh yeah,
after
I was
tax
so shocked by this.
Is $95 after tax because it's $79.99 plus 13%. That means if I were to walk in and let's say I buy the Xbox Series X and then buy a brand new copy of Halo Infinite day one, I am spending $1,000 $1,000 Canadian.
Oh, that is someone's entire savings account just for a stupid Xbox.
$1,000. Now,
so is it all of Canada for that tax, or is it certain regions?
It's between 12 to 13%. There's very few regions, I can probably count on one hand, that are significantly lower. I think it's between 11 to 13%, or that's the range. But I believe Alberta is 5%, and I think way up north, like by Alaska, is even lower. It's like 3%, but because there's nothing up there, you can't tax a bush. So
yeah, I mean, you say that, but I ask because in America, every state has its own tax, and it's like schizophrenic with how crazy the tax is.
Yeah.
So in America, a new game is $59.99, and here in Texas, after tax, it's $64.94. So that's not bad. That's like a $5 difference. That is massive. It's 8% in Texas, and it's 13% in your region of Canada.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is. So we got. So there's. Oh, this is not. So, and this is what's going to happen too, is that their Xbox is going to be producing the Lockhart, which is going to be the cheaper version of which they're saying is cheaper than the PS5. So the PS5, like we said, is nuzzled right in the middle between the cheap Xbox, which is only going to be able to run 1080p. It won't be 4K capable, and it will or it might be like 2K checkerboarded or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fake, like how the Xbox One S does 4K movies. It just does it in 2K.
Yeah. So there's a lot to break down. Now, the argument currently on NeoGAF right now is between how many teraflops each of the consoles run. The PS5 is allegedly supposed to be running at 9 teraflops. That's kind of been confirmed. But people are arguing whether or not the Xbox Series X is running at 10 teraflops or 12 teraflops. That's the argument right now. And that's
we should remind you, teraflops don't really mean anything. It's just they
do, but
it technically does, but not in the sense of like how comparing GPUs and CPUs.
So from what we've been gathering over the past weeks, it's if the PlayStation, if these specs are all true, these prices and all this stuff is all true. That SSD drive, I think, is going to be the biggest killer to the Xbox. Yeah. That SSD drive, because PlayStation's been taunting this. It's faster than almost anything that's on the market right now. So, I don't know how they can be able to get it down to size. I have no idea. So it's going to be interesting. But now the games that have been teased for the PS5 reveal. Now, the person confirmed this on Thursday at 1:15 January 30th, 31st at 1:15 a.m. Let me quickly just go to when that post was made. But one of the things that they said was that okay, so this was apparently released an hour before. So this was a release an hour before the guy had commented. So,
yeah, all right. You need some help?
I don't know about this one. I don't know about this. This one's getting a lot of traction. This one's building a lot of steam. But one of the things that they teased in it is the fact that there will be a new Resident Evil, which you have details about. So go ahead.
Okay. So do you remember, I don't know how long ago it was, but there was this user on Twitter by the name of Dusk Golem, and his handle was at AestheticGamer1. He released a lot of Resident Evil 8 leaks and development info on it. Now, if you go to his account on Twitter, it doesn't exist. Like, it's been completely nuked. I wonder why. He put the entire Resident Evil community into a frenzy whenever he claimed about how RE8 was in development since 2016, and then the project was scrapped 7 months ago, and it was in the process of being completely reworked and all that stuff. Now, a new user who wants to be anonymous emailed this Resident Evil fan site called biohazardcast.com. Now, they stress that this could be a rumor, but the anonymous tip is by someone that they know who has credibility in the Resident Evil community. Like, he knows about a lot of leaks.
Right.
So basically, this is the quick rundown. Ethan from Resident Evil 7 will be returning as a playable character. Okay. I didn't finish 7. Oh, actually, no. Yes, I did. I know how it ends. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. Resident Evil 8 was tested last year, so it was in the testing phases of 2019. I don't know how early this was.
Right.
It is not called Resident Evil 8, but will have a, quote, clever title, whatever that means.
Okay.
The game's going to be first person like Resident Evil 7 was, so it's going to be continuing this new trend of Resident Evil games. The gameplay is going to start in a village and then lead up to a castle, so like RE4, but there's a castle. I guess that's just RE4.
Right.
The environment will be rural, snowy, and mountainous, possibly Europe. Okay, that's cool. Regular zombies will be appearing instead of the molded, gross venom things from Resident Evil 7. 3 more bullet points. There is a persistent, shadowy female enemy that will follow you, but will dissipate if shot. So kind of like, what was her name in the PT demo?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with. I'm not too familiar with Resident Evil, to be honest.
So PT was the Silent Hill demo. Do you remember the lady that would like shake violently?
No.
Oh, really? You didn't see PT?
No, I did not.
Oh, you missed a lot, man. I'll show you later. You won't be able to sleep tonight.
Great.
There are also wolf-like creatures that will attack the player in certain areas, so, just basic enemies. And kind of a big one, Chris Redfield will also be returning in some capacity. So, yeah, he's just going to pop up just out of nowhere. Now, with RE3 releasing in April, it seems like if this is true and they're continuing with the first-person direction, Capcom is going to be remaking a lot of the old RE games to kind of keep them faithful, I guess, over the shoulder and everything, because we have RE3, we already have RE2. Everyone is begging for a Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, which is the fans consider the chronological Resident Evil 3. So Capcom could be having 2 series of Resident Evil games going at the same time, the remakes and the current series, which I don't know what they're going to do when they catch up with themselves unless they want to keep remaking the games.
Right.
But you said 8 was considered to be a launch title for the 5, right?
Right, they're considering 8. And what did the leak say? It said April?
Yeah, so Resident Evil 3 is coming out in April.
Okay.
Resident Evil 8 currently does not have a rumored release date unless it's that PS5 rumor release date. Now, if this is a PS5 launch title, do you think it will also be on the PS4?
Yes, I do think so.
Okay.
I do think that, yes.
Because I assume that this is being developed on PS4 hardware, like Persona 5 was. That was being developed on PS3, and then they just kind of like put it on PS4 just because.
Yeah, well, and it still runs good too.
I'm wondering if this is going to be released as a PS4 title. Well, actually no, because the PS5 is getting released this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know, because Resident Evil 3 remake was announced, and then it was like, hey, it's coming out in like 3 months. Get ready. They're kind of like doing an Activision, but like shorter span. Yeah. Activision gives like what 6 months?
6. It's 5 to 7 months for all the games.
So imagine if Activision was like, hey, this is a new Crash game. It comes out in 3 months. Okay, bye. Yeah, no, it's that. But I don't know. We don't really have anything to go off of for RE8. But the fact that Twitter user Aesthetic Gamer 1, the fact that his account got nuked kind of adds credibility in some way or another, because we did have all those accounts that got destroyed after they posted those PS5 dev kits.
Yeah. Yeah, they got absolutely destroyed, and it does line up with the theory for PlayStation. But the question is that this new I'm just gonna call it Resident Evil 8, right? Is that it I'm just trying to think, because it would be Resident Evil 3, and then, which is the remake, right?
Yeah, Resident 3 is the remake, and it comes out in 2 months.
Right. But it would be weird to announce another Resident Evil game before this one even comes out.
Yeah, I also should mention, that's a good point, because the Resident Evil 3 remake is getting a new Resident Evil thing called Resident Evil Resistance, which is like, if I remember correctly, I think it's like a Left 4 Dead game mode where you have 4 characters and you pick them and you have zombies everywhere and all that stuff. That's like new, like that's being added to RE3. It's a free multiplayer thing.
Right.
So
now,
that's 2 Resident Evil things.
Now, I will say one thing. There is one thing that I'm going to look back on this leak for. Is that they're saying that PS5 launch games include all these things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are going to be the games that are going to be teased at the PS5 reveal.
Oh yeah, we don't know what all is going to be teased.
Right? Because
how many games do you think are going to come out, like when the PS5 comes out?
Well, you're going to have your third parties, right?
Oh yeah,
you're going to have your third parties. I think what they're reporting on right now will be the games that come out that will be exclusive. Is Demon Souls exclusive or no?
Demon Souls, yes. Demon Souls was a PS3 exclusive by Atlas, and then they went on to do Dark Souls, so they could do multi-platform. Okay, so it would seem that all the stuff that they're talking about here, Godfall, Legends, but Godfall's going to multiple consoles too, is it? Wait. Yeah, Godfall is not a PS5 exclusive. That's the first game that they showed running on a PS5.
Right. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that needs to be broken down here, but it's saying PS5 launch games include, so they're talking about the launch, but the games teased at the PS5 reveal event don't necessarily have to be the games that are going to be at launch. They could be talking about, games teased at PS5 reveal, the game that they're going to be teasing the new Resident Evil. But what does tease mean? It could literally just be text.
Yeah, like how Metroid Prime was like, Metroid Prime 4 is coming. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. It was just Metroid Prime 4 on its way. But not really, because, reasons.
Because whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. If there's going to be any PlayStation reveal event next week, one last thing before I go. Somebody had predicted that we might not get necessarily a PS5 reveal event next week, but we might get a massive state of play. And
yeah.
And some people are thinking that we might get a state of play that's an hour long, which... Oof would be right. That would be a lot of games to talk about in an hour span. But that's speculation. That doesn't have too much backing to it, but a few people are thinking that. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be going on, and it feels like the industry is about to blow up as we enter I believe it's the 9th generation of gaming, if I'm correct.
That's cool. It gives us more to talk about.
Yeah, it gives us lots to talk about. So anyway, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Wumpa Time. We are literally everywhere where you can plug your ears into, whether it be Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, the neighbor's house, probably.
Carrier pigeons. We're still waiting for that carrier pigeons. Yes.
One day the Wumpa Time, just look for the pigeon with the Wumpa Time logo around its neck. That's give it the thing it needs, the letter, and we'll make sure to have you on the show. So
yeah, legitimately.
If any of you guys can get us a carrier pigeon, we will have you on the show. That's. Could you imagine, like, just one day?
No.
The carrier pigeon shows up. It's like, oh well. I guess this person's on the show now. So
I have multiple questions. How do you know where I live?
Yeah, I have multiple questions. I am terrified now. So, Shemp, we hope that you all feel better, so that you don't spread the Spyro sickness. Cyber. I'm tired, man.
I caught the Spyro.
I caught the Spyro. The cyber sickness hopefully that you feel a lot better. Thank you all so much for watching, and we can't wait for you to tune in with us next week on the next episode of Wumpa Time. Take care.
Bye.